uses. So when you say, I can tell you're upset, and he goes, well, yeah, you disrespected me. And you say, I'm sorry for disrespecting you, right? Well, you didn't honor my time. I'm sorry for not honoring your time. And so we can heal each other. And it doesn't have to be, there's no intention. It doesn't have to be, yeah, I totally meant to waste all your time and disrespect you, right? Like for me, I'm like, I had no idea that I was disrespecting you. Like, that was not my intention whatsoever in sharing a story about you to my friends, right? I used to, in my marriage, I would tell stories about my husband because we share everything with girlfriends, and it's a way for us to connect, and it's a way for us to feel vulnerable, right? Like in vulnerability, we like connect deeply with women. So I would share these things, and it was such a disrespect to my husband, and it completely shocked me, right? And so I didn't know how to heal him, and I didn't know how to have these conversations, but it's really, really powerful. So, any other kind of thoughts or questions?
Along the lines of what you were saying is one of the things that I learned is it's okay to have a grievance, but defense is the first attack. And that really resonated with me when I heard that, because yes, I want to say this is really bothering me, but if it's met with, well, that's not at all what I was just sitting here doing, and you're just coming out of nowhere, and then just really, it's like throwing gasoline on the fire, and that's when not feeling heard and not feeling dismissed is when the defense really comes in. So that's one of my observations about those exchanges, whether it's with a lover, a friend, parent.
And just softening into it, right? Rather than going, we tend to want to protect ourselves, and there's a total softening and commitment to the conversation, to the witnessing, to the opening that has to be there. But with that, it's what I love. Alistair Armstrong talks so often of conquering human instinct and stepping into human spirit. And when we act from human instinct, then we always lose, right? It's not, and at best it's chaotic. So sometimes, randomly it'll work sometimes, but it's when we step in from human spirit and love, then it always works out. And so we have to tune into that frequency, especially when instinct is saying fight, flight, like run, freeze, whatever it is that our instincts tell us, especially around the feminine rage, because it's been so not okay for so long, right? There's been a lot of suppression. So there's actually like a deep fear that happens when the rage comes out, that like a lot of times will shut down completely, right? Like I've been in so many situations where like with my kids I can be this like wah! But like I've been in relationships where it's just complete freeze. Like I can't talk, I can't speak, there's nothing that I can say, and there has to be an opening that's made for me. So yeah, it's really beautiful.
Something that came to mind about this is that in the realm of relationship, feelings are more important than facts, especially at the beginning. And like that's wise. And then later, if there wants to be like some stoic, sophisticated kind of philosophical man thing, then you're like, hey, the facts are also da da da. That's only after the feelings are more predominant for the realm of relationship at first. Then the facts can like, hey, we do also. There's a manly kind of like, hey, we need to get our facts straight too, though, occasionally,
Yeah. I love that you brought this up because this is huge. In fact, do you want to be right or do you want to be happy, right? Like that's kind of the question in this. Do I need to be right that I actually like disrespected him, or that you actually hurt me? That's not. It's about being connected and being in love. But a really key point about this conversation around rage and having this conversation with a woman is what not to do. Women at the end is say, okay, now I need you to promise me that you're do that again, right? Or start making deals, or start coaching, or for the man to turn around and go, okay, so let's look at this situation. Like, she's probably not going to be ready for that conversation for 24 hours, 7 days, a month. Like, I don't know when, but you'll kind of know when she's going to be ready. And a lot of times the man's like, okay, like, I see the pattern, I see what's going on, this is what caused this experience, and so, like, let's problem solve, let's figure this out. After this conversation, that is not the time to do it, but also it's not the time for a woman to make requests. It's just honoring, thank you for holding space and witnessing me. That's what that space is for.
So I have a question. What happens when it's too late? Now, like, the level of the rage is already like pretty high up there, where I'm sorry that I hurt you doesn't work anymore. I feel like that works at the beginning, before the rage. But then once the rage is there, is walking away really like abandonment, or is it really giving space so you can come back and like reset?
It's a really good question. So it depends on the person and their abandonment issues. So, and the conversation around it. So it's really important to say, hey, I'm going to take a deep breath and I'm going to like do some heart math right now, or I'm going to get into a space so that we can actually talk about this, but I need to step away right now and I'm coming back, right? That's really important for that abandonment wound not to be even more triggered in the rage and her just feeling like there isn't that space. But even in that conversation, you're creating a space, a container, and saying, hey, I'm going to be back. We have a conversation to have here, and I really want to hear you, and I want to witness